Oh, wait there, wait there. Yes, guys, SweeneyTV, Sweeney HQ, Sean's with Sweeney. We are live. We got Tom Baxter on. My G, yeah?
How's things, my friend?
I'm fucking great, mate. I'm great. Yo, listen, I'm so glad you're on, mate. It's been a long time, no speak.
Do you know what it is, mate? It has. Do you know, and you know what? There's things have been happening, haven't there? Lots and lots of crazy
Lots
things.
have been happening.
Mate,
Lots
honestly,
have been happening, bro. It's mad, right? Because today I walked through Cardiff and the amount of shops I've seen closed, and I got some big news later. But anyway, Tom, it's SweeneyTV. We're interviewing you. It's the second interview. Give us a brief description of Tom Baxter, please, brother.
right, briefly. So, I mean, how brief are we talking?
Just whatever you want, bro. We got all night, my brother. We got all night.
So, right, just brief description, really, like nice dark skin, well-groomed beard, nice tattoos, and occasionally, I would every now and again do a half decent trim. So, in a bit of colour.
I've won a couple of awards.
Right.
I just run the game. I'm one of the best educators in the game, bro.
Mate, you get them from Amazon. Dead easy to buy. You just go on Amazon.
I'm just a top guy anyway. Do multiple voices and fucking drive around in Lamborghinis and stuff. No, just a standard guy, isn't he, Tom?
Mate, look, it's just a day in the life, isn't it? A day in the life.
Bro, listen. Anyway, just tell people how you started. When you opened up Tom Baxter hairdressing, I can't even call it a barbershop because, like you said, you're not even a hairdresser. You just cut hair, you know? So,
I mean, you know what it is? That's pretty much bang on. Because I tell you what, I'm going to put a question to you, right? I'll put a question to you. I'll put a question to everybody else, right? Put your questions in the link below. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure there's some questions and answers that everybody wants to see. Now, I want to hear, right? You know, I want proof. And I definitely want an explanation as to what a hairdresser is and what a barber is, right? You tell me the difference. Now, if you can distinctly tell me the difference between a barber and a hairdresser, I'd love to know, right? I've done this job for 20 years now, right? And I thought at the time, when I was about 24, 25, that I was like the boy, right? I'm knocking these trims out left, right, and center. However, right? That's not the case at all. I mean, when you think about it going back then, you're talking two back and sides, bit of a trim on top. And if I'm honest, I started feeling a little bit stale in terms of, you know, the things that I was doing. I was like a bit like, ugh, this is boring. Now, I got asked to join an artistic team when I was about 25, right? So I think, you know, everybody who's in the industry, you've got to have some sort of ego, I would say. No, I mean, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? And you know, for me, I would never ever want to come across as an arrogant person whatsoever. And you know, for me, I don't copy anybody. I don't, you know, sort of try and follow what everyone else is doing. I tend to sort of do things my way. I think I've always done it my way. I've had companies approach us before in the past to do education for them, and they've asked us to sort of educate, but then I would have to go to their training school to educate their way. And it's one of them things where for me, without being stubborn or pig-headed or anything like that, like, you know, I've worked down hard in that shop. I worked there till 12 midnight. I've smashed so many pairs of clippers. And why do we call them pairs, by the way? They only come as a one, don't they? I've smashed so many clippers, right? It's unbelievable. You know, like as you're getting through the ranks and you sort of trying a few more things and doing a few more this and that. Anyway, so I walked into a room, right? Now, there's people out there that you may know, names that I mentioned, people's names that you may not mention, but you may not know what I mentioned. Now, it doesn't really matter, right? But to me, you know, when people say, oh, who's your inspiration? Who's this and who's that? When I walked into that room, right, when I was 25, and I walked into a room with a bunch of people who I didn't know, right? Everybody had a different skill set. Because in this industry, it's so vast, it's massive, right? It's like photography, right? It's like you could be a great portrait photographer, right? But you're a horrendous wildlife photographer, right?
Put my camera.
Put that pathetic thing to one side, or I'll bring out the big lad, right? Now, it's like I say with photography, like, you know, you could be like an amazing portrait photographer because you've got an eye for a beautiful face. So, you know, you could be a wildlife photographer, and you could be a sort of like a food photographer or whatever it is, right? Now, it's the same thing, isn't it? Right? You've got a camera, you take a shot, and that's that, right? But there's huge differences in each one. Like, I mean, I went out with a friend of mine to learn, because when I was doing portrait stuff, I wanted my portraits to be a little bit more sort of interactive. Have you got a
That's because of you, bro. You helped me set my camera up, bro.
Do you know what it is? Isn't that much softer light though, isn't it? That's
what I'm saying, bro. Look, that's all because of you. So keep going about cameras, Tom.
Well, do you know what, right? You know, I've done photography now for, you know, about 6 years or so now, but, you know, sort of going back to what I was talking about before, like, you know, you've got different aspects of anything, right? So like, say go back to photography, right? You've got, you know, wildlife photography, you've got portrait photography. Now, I went out with a friend of mine because I wanted to do, because with every sort of skill that you have, right, you could apply a different skill and it's going to help improve that skill, right? Now, what I would say to you though, Sweeney, right, is when you are shooting, right, get a good looking models, right? Because I'm sure that's a great haircut.
Oh, I use good looking models. All my guys are good looking, bro.
I mean, he's great.
Like, that's the best looking guy in the game, bro.
Who is it? I can't see it.
Best looking guy in the game, bro. Robert Grosvenor.
Right. I'm going to ask you a couple of things. I'm just going to get you to do something, right?
Bro, my guy's been there from the start, bro.
Right, but I know you're saying that. That's fine. Mass respect, but just look down the lens, right? So you just said the best looking guy there. Have a look down the lens.
Bro, I was joking. I'm joking about, bro. Joking. Come on.
That's sick.
I'm just saying. But like, look, you know, I got a few photos on here, Tom. But like, since you got me to edit this,
yeah,
like go all through the keypad, yeah, the photos are much better, bro.
Well, do you know what it is, right? I mean, the thing is, and
it makes a difference. And thank you for helping me. But anyway, tell the viewers about camera work and how important it is.
Well, what I'm doing, right? I'm going to put it in a big bubble for you, right? So I'm going to take this, right? And I'm going to put it in the hairdressing, right? So this is where I'm going. So you've got photography, you've got wildlife photography, you've got portrait photography, you've got landscape photography, you've got photography where you're taking pictures of food. Like, you get some photographers that take a picture of a cocktail glass, right? Now it's a cocktail glass. I mean, it's a cocktail glass, but they can make it unbelievable, right? Now, that's obviously the lens, that's the camera, that's the lighting, that's everything else that goes with it. However, when they go to edit, they know exactly what they're doing when they're editing. Now, I went out with my friend because I didn't want to do wildlife photography. It's not for me, right? He loves it. You know, it's not my bad. Fishing is not my bad, right? I don't want to sit there for 14 days to get one picture. But he's more than happy to do that, and that's fine. Now, we had the same opportunities, right, when we were out. I had my camera with a 70 to 200 mm lens, which is like nearly £2,000, right? So it's not a cheap game, right? Now, you don't have to go crazy, because I'm telling you now, the iPhone 11 Pro Max for some shots is wow, right? And if you know how to use it properly, and I'll show you a few tricks as well how to do it. I'll show you I'll show you a few tricks live, right? On a couple of things.
You were telling me about an app about the.
It's not that. It's how you take it, where you take it, and the perspective in which you take it in, right? So,
like I said, you're teaching me, bro. You're teaching me about camera work. Go on.
Well, I mean, do you know what it is, right? So for me, you've got all these things. Anyway, I went wildlife photography with my friend, right? Now, I'll be honest with you, right? I would say I was pretty handy with the camera. Right? I'm not, you know, there's people out there who are brilliant with cameras and all the rest of it.
Tom, listen, we all fucking know you on the fucking main magazines of most of these motherfuckers for years, bro. We know you can take photos. Listen, come on now. Stop beating them on the back. Give us a secret, guys. Come on. This is what SweeneyTV for. Give us the juice, bro. We want to.
I'll tell you what.
How
right?
do we do it? How do we get there?
Do you know what it is, right? At the end of the day, right, you've got to learn three things, right? It's one thing, but it's three. So it's about the triangle of light, right? Now, if you get that triangle of light right, you can do anything you want, all right? Now, every single adjustment, right, to any part of those aspects, right, will affect the camera in some way, all right? So it depending on what level of camera you've got, depends on the sort of variations of what you can and what you can't do. So obviously the higher end of the market that you go, if you do have the budget for that, you're going to have more options to be able to maneuver more things, right? If your camera's on
I just robbed Gareth Clark out of a $4,000 camera for work.
To be fair, mate, I mean that's a 7D. You know, it's a very, very good camera. But I mean, you're shooting with a 50mm lens now. A 50mm lens is a good lens. It's a lens that
I only do top of the range, man. Well,
I mean, you just picked up a pair of babblers, so it's complete lies. But anyway, what I was saying about the triangle of light was anyway, I know they're expensive. They all are. I mean, even if you look at the wall clip, was like 190 quid. It's like, when did they? Even Nike, when did Nike become Balenciaga? Like, you know, well, you know what Nike, the brand, it turned into Balenciaga. Anyway, man, we need to get back to this photography, right? Listen, so I went to a thing with my mate, right? Wildlife photography, right? Now he was taking pictures of birds. He was taking pictures of things, and he was catching them like. And you've got to take about 600-700 photos when you do it, right? Get rid of your clippers, man. We're talking about photos, man. What's the matter with you? Right.
Sorry. Advertising, innit? For Babyless. Come on, G.
Like, look, they're getting up.
No. Go on. Photography is very important. Right, let's go.
Right, so I was doing wildlife photography, right? Now I thought I was a pretty good photographer, right? I could do portraits, right? I know what I'm looking for, I know what I'm aiming for. I know exactly where I want the model to be. I want to get the most flattering look I can get off the model to make me look as good as the effort that I put into it, right? Because if I have the
Tom Baxter's 3 steps. Let's go.
Right, well, I'm getting to the point, right?
Okay.
Now, I went into wildlife photography with my friend, and I missed every single fucking bird there was, right? All I got was either sky or a splash, right? Because it's a completely different skill, right? So when I'm hitting a target, right, that's not moving, dead easy, right? When you've got a bird flying 30 miles an hour, right, it's not easy, right? So if I want to do something where I want to take that aspect and put it into my portraits, as in I want my model to kind of like flick her hair like that. Her body's moving, right? So if her body's moving, my shutter speed has to be adjusted. Otherwise, I'm going to get a blur. So what I want is a crisp, sharp shot, right? But my shutter speed has to be faster now, okay? So there has to be an adjustment made to the camera to allow for the movement. So if your shutter speed is too slow, then any movement is going to cause a blur, right?
Yeah, well, that's what you were showing me. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that you can take you take something from somewhere else and you can bring it into what you're doing right now, and it's going to improve what you're doing right now. So my portrait photography, instead of just being like sort of like this, right?
So I had to change this, didn't I?
Yeah, because you were running too low, way too low, right? So if I want to turn an image from this, right, to the standard sort of good-looking guy kind of pout, right? That sort of looking down the camera with blue steel, right? If I want to turn it into maybe like say one of the female clients, right? And you want to kind of really move her hair and you want to get the action in there. Or say, for instance, you've got somebody in the water, right? And it is a model and shoot. You've got the hair in the water and you want to kind of flick it up and out. You've got movement there, right? So your shutter speed is going to have to be adjusted to make sure there's no blur, right?
Yeah.
So if the shutter speed is being adjusted, right, it's not going to allow enough light into the camera, okay? So the faster the shutter speed, the darker the image is going to appear. So you're going to have to change either the depth of field, right, which is, how much of it.
Is that on here or?
That's on there.
On here, because you said these are different to this, and then this is different to this. Understanding your camera, Tom.
Right, hang about. Right now, I'll get what I'm going to get. I've got a couple of cameras. I've got a 1D 1DX Mark II, right, which is the creme de la creme, right, and I've also got a 5D Mark III, right. I'll get the 5D Mark III because I've just in the kitchen, right, and I'll show you, right.
Okay, no worries. So while Tom's away, obviously this is a little advert for SweeneyTV. Tom's going to be a permanent co-host after this interview. So when we're interviewing other people, Tom's going to jump on as well. So we've got two different dynamics. That was quick. I was expecting for a while.
Right now.
Right. Okay.
So we'll switch this little fella on, right? Now, I've just took the cover off, right? Now, that there, right, is 100 mil.
How much was that lens? That lens is probably about $1,000.
Just over, right? Now, that lens there, right, is, hang on, there.
Trev, your cock's bigger than mine, bro.
No, it's not what you do with it, mate. It's the motion in the ocean. That's what they say, right? If anything, I'm overcompensating, right? Because I haven't got that penetration. No, right? It's 100 mil macro lens. Now, fundamentally, that's not a lens you would use for portraits. It's more of a lens you would use for sort of maybe food photography or something like that, because it's so sharp, right? But you don't really get much distance with it, right? Because it starts to lose its focus a little bit. Now, a 70-200 lens, fantastic lens for portraits. An 85 mil lens, fantastic for portraits. 50 mil lens, you know, really good for portraits, depending on how much you spent. Now, I'd imagine that lens on there that you've got there, you know, you get a few different versions of it. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark, right? Now, I know you didn't tell us this the other day. It's a 50 mil lens, but I can guarantee it's a 1.8. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a cheap one, right? Now, the more money you spend on a lens, right, the more clarity you're going to get in your shot, because the
lens I bought, yeah, I just said to him, "Oh, look, I got an EOS 70, and I want to take photos of haircuts." He said, "Well, you want to get a 50 now?" And then I buy a 50
right,
mil.
so
every single barber who bought a camera said, "Don't buy the 50 mil."
Well, to be fair, mate, most of the barbers in the industry
I'm like,
don't know.
I went to the fucking shop and he said that was the one to buy.
You know what it is, right? If you want any advice on a camera or a lens, you go speak to Liam Oakes. He's the only guy on the planet that I would ever.
Liam's the man. Yeah, he is. He's the man, bro.
Or Robert Braid. I mean, you know, you've seen the stuff he knocks out. It's great stuff. Or even the likes of Gary Hooker. He can take some serious shots. Martin Fox. He's a great photographer as well. So,
Tom, what are you saying on my party then, Chief?
I mean, you know what you've done?
What?
You've hit the perfect line, haven't you? On the perfect bridge, on the perfect haircut every time. So now, when the tree falls, you know where it's going to land, right?
Oh, there you go, Tom. There you go.
So right, here we go. We've got the triangle of light. Okay, so let's switch this thing on. Right now, I'm sitting here with a shutter speed of 80. Right.
Right,
now,
Tom. Wait there. Just 2 seconds. People are going to ask, what the fuck is that massive thing at the top?
Oh, well, I took the thing. I can't need new batteries.
Right, so it's a battery pack, yeah?
This runs my flashlights.
Ah, so it's linked. It's linked.
Yeah. So the flashlights that I've
got.
So
for the viewers who were thinking, what the fuck's that on top of Tom's? Because I haven't got one. Do you know what I mean? I've just got one of them.
Well, do you know what it is?
Very small.
The case, it's over there actually. I had new batteries in because I did a photo shoot yesterday. So this here, right, runs the photography lights, the flashlights that I've got in the corner, which I've got I've got a million of them. I'll show you. I'll tell you what. I'll spin you around. Let's have a look. Right. So, you know,
exclusive Tom Baxter's like home studio, which is basically probably better than most barbershops.
You know what it is, mate? You're not wrong. You know, you're actually not wrong. Right. Here we are. Where are we? Let's go for a tour. Right now. There. Hang on. Where are we? Can we see where we are? Right.
Yeah.
Here we are. Right.
Tom, then lights are probably worth a few quid. I know that.
Well, I mean, you could probably buy a course.
He's got, and you haven't got one of them. He's got two of them. So that like a sweet dog, yeah. You don't fuck about, bro. If you're gonna get,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
it, you gotta cut one, innit?
We haven't actually
You
got. We
always
haven't
get
actually
a
got.
backup, Tom, innit?
Do you know this? We haven't got two. We've actually got four. Now,
He's got 4 of them. He's got backup on the backup. Jake
Right.
is to be jumping on this, like, yo.
right. So, there's my flashlight. Right now,
Come on, Tom.
depending on the shot you want to take. I mean, I've got verticals on there, right? So
Verticals. You can fucking light up half a fucking candy for them lights, bro.
Look, mate, put it this way: when I was taking shots yesterday, right, I had lit the street up like Blackpool illuminations. Now, here's the next one, right? Very important, right? Because the thing with photography, right, and the thing with anything that you do, right, like this light, for instance, that I've got my phone on, right? Without this light, right, I'm a 9, right? Now, with this light, you're talking. I mean, you're talking what? 9.5.
Tom, remember we're live here now, bro. It's not just me and you talking here now. Oh yeah, you got your 6-pack back. It's fine.
Right. So
he's been doing. I said to him the other day. I said, "Yo, when's the 6-pack on?" And then now he's been doing.
Mate, you don't need to worry about.
I've been ringing him. He's not answering the phone. What's he doing? He's doing set.
Where we at? Right. So here we go. Right. So here we've got the crane. Right.
Go on,
so
Tom.
with this one here, right, what we can do with that one, it just goes a straight line, straight in the air. But with this one, right, we can extend it up and out, right? And then not only can
He's just showing off now, bro.
Now, not only can we do that, we can also tilt, so we can get up above someone's head, lift this right up nice and high, and have the light cascading over the top of the head, right?
Okay, right.
Now, if you're going to
Sorry, I was making a joke of that, but I should be more serious. Sorry, we're being serious now. So,
what did you say? How you said?
No, but Tom, right, lighting is very important with camera work, isn't it? Like, like you were telling me earlier on, if you haven't got the right lighting, you're not going to get the right angle. And Tom, go into how many shots do you take when you take photos? Because I was taking like 5 or 6 photos, and you're telling me you take 500. Your photographer takes thousands. I'm like, whoa.
Well, you know, right? It's one of those things, right?
And it's like it's sort of again the perfect shot. And you're
it's
right.
It's one of those things, right? When you're doing any sort of photography, right? When you're doing any sort of shoot, right? The more you get into it, right? If you can take a shot, one shot, and you know that one shot is the shot, and you're basically wasting time taking any more, right? Now there's other times that you've got to go at it. Now, if I'm doing if I'm doing something for work, right? So basically, I would take somebody outside. I wouldn't go to the extravagance of getting out with all the lights and all the rest of it. If I was doing something for, say, Barber Evo, or I was doing something for Sinead at Osmo, and I wanted something that really sort of crisp, sharp coolness, I would use studio lighting, right? Now, the thing is, when you've got your camera, right, you can only control certain amounts or certain aspects of what is around you. So if you want a shot that's really crisp, right, you're going to want to be coming down to about 100 ISO, which is the clarity that the camera shoots at. So it's the quality it shoots at. Okay. Now, if you put that in an automatic setting, right, what it'll do is it'll raise the ISO so high that it lets a load of light in. So if it was in a darker area, the camera would overcompensate, but you would lose.
And the ISO is up on here on the top of the camera, guys, just for people who don't know.
Yeah, your ISO is your clarity, right? It's how crisp the image is going to be. The lower the clarity, the better, right? But the lower the clarity, the less light that comes through the camera, right?
Okay.
So say, for instance, you are doing that. So you lowered your ISO down to 100, but then you are shooting somebody who was doing a backflip. You didn't want any blur. So you're going to have a high shutter speed. So a high shutter speed is going to give you what? Less light going into the camera. So you've got a low ISO, which is letting less light in, and a high ISO.
So how do you rectify that, Tom?
And a high shutter speed, right, is going to give you really darkness, right?
Yeah. So how do you rectify that? Just do it through editing or through the camera?
So there's only one other thing you can do to alter it, because there's only 3 things in the triangle of light. Okay.
Yeah.
You can change the depth of field. Now, the lower the depth of field, right, from 1.8, 1.4, 1.2, all the way up to 24, 25, right? Now, if you get up to 24, 25, there's basically the whole image is in focus, right? If you come down to, say, 2.8, or you shoot at like maybe 4 or 5.6 or 7.1, not all of the image is going to be in focus. You're going to get a drop off. Now, if you need the shutter speed to be 500, you know that because they're doing a backflip. You need that speed. You want the clarity, right? But you don't have the right depth of field for what you're trying to take the shot of, because you want more of the image in focus, but you can't, because you can't put your aperture high enough, because if your aperture is too high, you're not going to let in enough light. So that situation right there is where you can't take the shot, right? So you know what you need to have, and if you can't have those things, you need to make them, right? Which is why flashlights and everything else is there to assist you on that. Now, if you're on scene,
that's why you invest in buying decent light stuff.
Well, I mean, you know, I've got those. Now, you don't necessarily need to have those indoors, right?
Now, clearly, if you've got them, you fucking need them, bro.
Well, it's one of them things where, you know,
listen, if you've got them, I fucking want them.
Well, I've gone down that road of Pixel Pro, right?
Like,
now,
you're going to see Sweeney's barber shop. That was giving me like a fucking.
Well, do you know what it is? It's one of them things, right? It's not a cheap game, right? It's really not, right? And you know, I've built things up over time. You know, like I think in total, you know, I mean, the 1DX Mark III that cost us nearly $5,500 just for the camera, right? The lens that I've got, which is a 7200 lens, I mean, that's $2,000 for that. You're talking, I've got an 85mm 1.2 USM lens, which is nearly 1,800 quid. There's a £995 for that lens down there, and then that camera itself, just on its own, by itself, that's $3,000. Plus you've got the extra battery pack to go on top. Then you've got your memory cards. Plus you've got your continuous lighting, which is what I've got on right now, and then you've got obviously your lighting, which is for your flash photography, right? And then you've got your eye. So there's your focal point. You need that support, right? So
Tom, what's all this shit here though?
Just keep that still.
That's what pickles my head. I don't understand what all that is.
Hang on a minute.
And like when I got the camera, I just had the box. There was no book to tell me what fits that. It's just all madness.
All right, hold it right there. Right, so that's what you're shooting in. You're shooting in RAW, right? Your EF. What's your EF? All right, that's better. So slow. Right, so you're in you're shooting 8, right? So you're setting, right? Your shutter speed is 80, right? So that's quite a low shutter speed. That. So if anybody moves, right, you're gonna get a blur. So
yeah, I tend to shoot because look. That's the first shot I took. Look.
Right. Where was that though?
Like it's a blur, and then this is the second one.
Right. Can I have a look at that shot again?
You can't really see it because of the fucking light with this. What I'll do is I'll send them to you I'll send them to you anyway, Tom.
Oh, let's have a look because I want to. Because to me,
like you can see that's a bit better.
Right. So you should have it right when you take a shot. Right, you'll have a gauge. Right. So what I want you to do right now, right, is I want you to look through the eye of the camera, right, and I want you to half press the button.
What with the lens off, yeah?
Yeah. Now focus on something light so the camera picks it up because it'll be too dark in there. You should hear a beep, right?
I can't even see anything through it.
Right. Have you got it set so you can? Press the button on the side.
This one. Which one? This one.
Okay. Right. So can you see it on the screen only?
It's only on the screen. And when I look through it, it's dark.
Mate, you're having a shot out there, like, right. Turn it around.
So when I look through this, it's dark.
Right. It's one of them buttons up there. Let's have a look. I can't really see because it's blurry as out. Where's my camera gone?
Tom. Right, we're gonna lose the listeners.
Tell you what, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No,
right,
Tom,
do it again.
Let's move on.
No, I'm gonna tell you what. I want to nail this. Half press it, and I want to see the back of the screen. Turn the camera around. Half press it. right? There should be a gauge, right? On that gauge, it'll tell you there should be a 0, then minuses, then a 0, then pluses. Can you see it?
This one there.
Can you see the gauge? So when you half press, you should see a digital gauge. Now it tells you whether the picture is either underexposed or overexposed.
What?
You know what, Sweeney? Let's move on, right?
Right there. What the hell? Right. Bro, fuck it. Just move on. Right. Colour. Song.
Anyway,
Right.
now, do you know what? Do you know what? We're going to go Billy Connolly, right? Now, I was telling you about photography, right? And I was just using it, right, as a metaphor to send it into where I'm going now, right? So what I said to you about before was about going out doing wildlife photography and bringing it into portrait photography, right? To improve that for portrait. So when I take the shot of the person, I can get them doing different things, yeah? Now, when I walked into that room with people 10 years ago, I walked in there and I seen a bunch of people who could do, yes, they couldn't do men's hair, sort of, maybe.
I got it working.
Right, now can you see?
It was the round thing there. I had to put it on the normal setting for camera.
Now, did you put it on manual?
I got it. Yeah, I got it. No, I got it. Anyway,
Right,
fuck it. Keep going on, Tom. Keep
right,
going.
so
Yeah, you did sort it out. Don't worry.
Right, so
It took me a while to work it out.
right. Oh, done? Excellent. Super. Right now.
It's the Sweeney Arms now. Sweeney Arms. We've broken all the rules, but let's go.
So what I'm saying is, right, I was talking about that photography thing, right? So this is a metaphor, right? Just as a kind of example. Now, I walked into a room 10 years ago with a bunch of people who are phenomenal at what they did, right? So there was Michael Comby, right? Who's a huge inspiration of mine. Now, I've seen him doing things with hair that, like, fair enough, he couldn't do a man's haircut as clean as what I could, right? But that doesn't matter, right? Because he got a can of Pringles, right? And I'm talking a can of Pringles. He put it on this beautiful girl's head, and he made an unbelievable hairpiece. And I'm standing there just going, what the fuck has he just done there? That is unbelievable. Now, Lindsay Ford, right? Leslie Stitt, right? These are the country's best colorists, right? And I'm standing there, right? And I think I know a thing or two about colouring, right? I'm walking in there 10 years ago, I'm a colourist, right? I stand next to Lindsay Ford and Leslie, and I am a knob, right? They're doing shit that I can't even breathe when they do it, right? So I just get a massive one of them, right? A massive one of them. So when someone turns around to me and says, who's the best barber in the UK? Fuck off, right? I'll tell you why. Because who's the best at doing a skin fade, right? I could probably answer that for you, right? Who's the best at doing a skin taper? I could possibly answer that for you, right? But when you tell me who's the best stylist, right? Unless you've got an arsenal, right, of skills.
Called all-rounders, bro.
You need to be able to do anything now.
All-rounder. They can cut.
Let's get back to barbering, right?
Medium hair, any hair, bro. And
let's get back to barbering, right? What's a barber? Fuck knows. What's a hairdresser? Fuck knows. Tell you why. You've got a lad.
They're just labels, Tom. That's all they are. We just
if you've got a lad and he comes through your door and his hair's down here, 50% of your staff run the opposite way, right? Now that's a man. So where does he go? Barbershop, hairdressers. Exactly. My point's been answered. Now, you've got a lady, beautiful lady, right? One of the girls that I do, right, called Haley. She has very short hair. She gets a skin taper on one side, a Barbary haircut, yeah? She's a lady, right? She got a very feminine finish on the opposite side. We've left the length in the fringe and we've left the length coming down at the sideburn to create that feminine finish, right? Now, if you were doing a man's haircut, you would do a slight taper maybe, or you would kind of round it off a little bit, right? So you're going to put that feminineness into it, soften it off with a little bit of a razor. Now, what am I doing, right? Am I a hairdresser at this point or am I a barber at this point? Because I've just used barbering techniques to do one side of a hair, but now I'm using hairdresser techniques to do the opposite. But is it a hairdresser technique or not?
You're just Tom cutting hair, doing your thing, which is what you love.
But then after that, right? Then we're going to colour it, right? Not only we're going to, we're not only going to colour it, we're going to colour it to the highest standard. Then not only we're going to colour it, then we're going to add some crazy stuff into it, right? Now, it needs to fit and it needs to balance. Why? Because if it doesn't, right? The whole shape, balance, and total finish of it is out the window, right? Now, I can only do all
Do you
this
think I
stuff.
did a good job here with my hair?
I'm not going to comment. Now, if...
Yeah, that means a shit.
Look,
if Tom Baxter says he's not commenting, I know what. Listen, I know you, bro. If it's good, you say it's good. If you say it's shit, you're too humble to say it's not. But it don't matter. Let's move on.
Look, it doesn't matter. You like it, and if you look at the end of the day, what I've learned in this industry, right, is
I'm
that
getting off you, bro. I got all the fucking Osmo stuff from you.
you know what it is.
I'm just years beyond you.
Do you know what it is though, right? For me, it's one of them things where you've got to be able to take on whatever walks through that door if you want to be.
Yeah, but Tom, listen, everybody knows you've mastered the colouring, you mastered the barbering years ago, you mastered the photography, you're mastering the advertising, and you're living the lifestyle, and everybody knows what you're doing and what you're about. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's just layer it out so people can get that method which you did naturally without even thinking about it, and that is the natural method to succeed, to be the best.
You know what it is, right? I'll tell you this for free, right?
It's just gravy on SweeneyTV, bro.
And this is the God's honest truth, right? I'll tell you this for free. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's hairdressing, right? It doesn't matter whether it's joinery. It doesn't matter whether it's plumbing, right? I put my hand on my heart, and I swear on the kids' lives, right? I have never, ever, ever done this job for money, ever. Now, whatever gets brought into my till, right, at that time, bear in mind, for a long time,
listen to this. This is gravy.
Do you know what it is? I never had a penny, right? You know, my mum and dad worked their asses off. They weren't in a position to help us out. And you know what? It's one of them things. I don't want to book it. I don't want anyone to cry for us. They did a very good job for us. Don't get us wrong. I got what I wanted when I wanted it. But they didn't have the money to say, right, Tom, there's 25 grand. Go and start up your own business. Because who has that sort of money? Not really. Right? Now, I didn't have that either. Now, there's someone out here, and if she ever sees it, I hope she does. Because without her, right, I would not have got through that, like, first initial 2 weeks, right? Now, I took over that shop, right, on the 2nd of January, 2008, right? I opened the door at 9 in the morning. That was the first day I took over. I was 22, right? No, I wasn't. I was 14, right? Because then that makes us, you know what I mean? So I was 22, right? And I love her to bits, right? She's left. She's not doing the industry anymore. She's happy. I'm really happy for her. She's got 2 lovely kids.
Just retired out the game, man.
Look, she's got 2 lovely kids, and she's happy, and that's awesome. I wanted as a family. I'm over the moon for her, right? But she was very good at that job, right? She got her head down, right? She's exactly what you want as an employee. She did moan. I'm not going to lie. Yes, you did, Carly. You were absolutely whinged your tits off. You know you did. And you used to go mental, right? If anybody left any mess anywhere. So, yes, you were a whinge. However, right, me and her worked, well, she'd probably tell you better than me, but we worked flat out, right, for days and days and days on end, right? Now, we were lucky as well because it was January, right? So normally January you get a bit of a slump. But for whatever reason, me and Carly were flying. Now, I swear to God, I had to give my old boss 5 grand, right? Now, I was 22, right? And how I had £5,000 in savings, I've got absolutely no idea, right? But that was me out. And when I say out, I mean, I had direct debits coming out for the gym, right? I had direct debits coming out for my car. I had direct debits coming out for my phone bill, right? Then all of those things had to be put in the bank by Friday. It's Monday, right? Now I've got wages to pay, I've got rent to pay, and everything else. I've gone into this thing with my finger up my arse, know nothing about anything other than what I've been shown from my old boss, learning that way. And you find your own feet, right? But me and Carly just blasted. She didn't complain once, right? She got on with it, you know, and she plowed on. And without that 2 weeks, right? I'll say this about anything in any job, right? You've got to have a level of skill, right, to be able to continue with the service, right? But you need a little bit of luck as well, right? Because if you don't get that little bit of luck, then you could have the best product in the world, but if it's not seen or it's not caught or it's not got the right timing, what's that?
Tom, sometimes like if you need the luck, you've just got to nurture it first. Just put
Well,
it
that's, I
in
mean,
mindset
but it's,
early,
it's
and
any
then just let
business.
it grow. And I notice you do that a lot. And I think sometimes you do it subliminally without thinking about it.
Oh, don't worry, it's wrong, mate. Right, I'm always 2 steps ahead, right? So
I know you
don't
are, Tom. That's why I think sometimes you're a wizard and you don't realise it.
But it's one of those things, like, you know, like you've got to be thankful, because at the end of the day, you can stand there and say Tom Baxter this, Tom Baxter that, right? But if I didn't have Paul McLaughlin, who works in my salon, right? If I didn't have the likes of Jordan, if I didn't have the likes of Sean, if I didn't have the likes of Jamie, if I didn't have the likes of Carly, if I didn't have the likes of Kelly, people like that, right? I can't do my, like, because at the end of the day, I've only got these, right? That's all I've got, right? So I can only do so many, right? And without a good team behind you, right, who back you and follow you and believe in what you're doing is right, you know, and what you're teaching them and you're giving them, it's gonna. Because for me, I don't want people.
You've got to have a belief. You've got to have belief in your students, and your students got to have belief in the trade.
The thing is, though, if you lose your audience, right, if you lose your staff, right, if you lose the respect of your staff, right, you've lost it. Now, for me,
Tom, wait there, stop. Me and you, yeah, right? The people who work for us and we've trained will never lose respect for us, even though they've shit on us and they've left us. They will never, ever, Tom, they lose sleep over losing their jobs working for me and you, brother, because of the businesses we've established in this fucking reality. And you don't realise how powerful Tom Baxter Barbershop in Newcastle is, and so Sean from Sweeney's Barbershop Academy. We are establishments in the 3D, mate. And we got to know that we are powerful, brother. I just want to let you know that.
Well, no, I mean, you know, you're right, but I think, you know, I think behind every successful person, right, is always somebody, a good team behind them. Like, you know, you can pretend to yourself that, you know, you are this one-man army, right? And yes, I'm the one who drives it. I'm the one who stays up till 2 a.m. doing the editing. I'm the one who is running around like a blue horse fly, right? But at the end of the day, right, you know, I've got lads who I can trust, right, which is a big thing, huge thing, right? Now, you know, I've always said to the lads, always, right, that, you know, for me, I'll help them wherever I can, right? And if I'll spend my own personal time, right, I'll bring them to my house and I will teach them whatever it is that they need to know, right? So if they want to come over to me and ask us, but there's one thing I won't do, right? I won't chase you, ever, right? So if you're doing a bad job, right, or or if there's a haircut in the salon that's being done, and you know in your mind that you can't do that haircut, and you don't go off your own back and go and stand and watch how that haircut's being done, right? That's your bad, right? It's not my job to send you there, right? My job, right, is to motivate you to the point where you want to go there. Now, if you don't want to go there, then I know you don't love it, right? If you don't love it, I don't want you. Go work at Tesco. That's the point. Now, if people come into your shop and they talk about money, oh, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, right? I'm doing all these haircuts, right? Look how much money I'm putting in the till for them, right? Listen, right? The clients you're doing right now are the clients that come into the shop. I'll give you a job, right? I didn't have to give you a job. I gave you one. I trained you. I made you better than you were, right? I put my heart and soul into you, right? And then you get it thrown back in your face, right? Fair enough, right? I'll take the hit. I'll take the blame for whatever that excuse was, right? Then they try and go after your clients because they think that they're theirs. Then maybe they are theirs, right? If they want to go to them, they can go. I'm not really bothered, right? But I've always said to the lads, look, I don't expect them. What I want from a team is I want a team that wants to be there and wants to work together, right? There's nothing I hate more, right? Because I've had messages on Instagram, right? You know, I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but I keep seeing the same name recurring, right? Now, every time I put something up for a job, which isn't very often because I like to keep the staff there, right? And I always say to them, I always give them an
incentive. Gotta keep the staff there, bro.
What's that?
Gotta keep the staff there, bro.
Look, at the end of the day, for me, right, I had, which is rare, right, up until very recently, I had the same staff for 10 years, right? Now, that tells you something, doesn't it? Like, you know, people can say a lot of things about you, right? Bro. But I had them there for 10 years.
I remember the first video you did when you first used the drone and it zoomed away from your shop.
That was Louis Armstrong, that.
And I thought fair play to him. And I've just watched you, bro, since then. And like I've
Do you know what it is though, mate, right? I think
mates, and it's mad how connected we are, bro. And like exactly what you said about staff. You're right. You've got to keep them, but you've got to make sure that you keep them for longevity. But I have noticed, like you've changed your shop around, Tom. Let's talk about your shop. Like, what have you done recently, which is like new? Obviously, like don't go into the COVID because nobody cares about that. But go into like Tom Baxter, your shop, and what's coming next. You know, let's talk about let's go into the gravy side of it.
Well, what's coming next, right? Is it's not coming out yet, right? But there is something going to happen over the next 2 years, right? Now, in terms of the shop, COVID inspired it, right? That's what I'm going to say. COVID did inspire it. Now, I did a meeting, right, with the Tory MP and the German physicist for the start back for the first initial lockdown, right? So in a meeting or in a Zoom meeting, there was 6 people on the board. There was a German physicist and a Tory MP waffling on about this and waffling on about that. And they were saying that we needed to have all this PPE. We needed to do this. We needed to be 2 meters apart. We needed to have the staff on shifts because we couldn't be too close together, blah, blah, blah.
Pisses me off all this stuff, mate. I just want to just start hitting people, mate, when they start saying that to us.
Well, the thing is, I mean,
fuck you to tell us to do that.
Well, the thing is,
I get angry. Go on.
But the thing is, I'm the worst person in the world to put on a board of people like that, because I mean that's why Sinead won't let me speak to Stephen, who owns Osmo, because she knows that I'll say something that'll probably get all in trouble. But that's just the way I am, right? Now they were waffling on about PPE, all this extra expense that we were going to have to pay. 9 levels of lift. Bang on, right?
I got it all, bro. I got the, this is all because of you, man. Got it all, bro. Got it all. Anyway, keep going.
So they put us on the board, right? So I had a Zoom meeting, right? So it was partly the industry, I don't know, the top 6 or whatever they had said. So I had a tattoo guy there, someone who did lips, someone who did hair, that was me. I can't even remember who the rest of them were. Anyway, so they were waffling on about all this stuff with the sort of like, so what we're planning to do this week as we go back to work is we're going to make sure that everything is safe and all of things that we are doing is very safe for the clients. So disposable gowns are a must, and also gloves are a must. May we also use the visor for the face, and also if we make sure our staff aren't within 2 meters of themselves, otherwise there may be a spread of COVID. So my reply, right?
How would you like your haircut, sir? I look really attractive tonight.
Well,
how would you like your haircut? Do you want me to get your hair? No. Would you want a haircut off me like this? Or would you want a haircut off me like this?
Well, it depends on your breath, I suppose.
Yeah, can you are.
Anyway, so this guy, he was waffling on, right? And he was telling us about this and that. So he was saying, so with the COVID and the spread of the disease, we have to make sure these places are put into consideration. And I was like, right. So can you tell me, right, what it is that is COVID? And he said it was a strain of the flu. It's like a virus, right? It's got a different sort of strain of virus. It's a bit more aggressive.
Did you ask him if they've done a Coke's postulate?
I'm getting there, right? So I asked him what it was, and I asked him how it entered the body, right? So he basically said that it goes through the orifices of the face or the body or whatever. And I said, well, which ones, right? Now, he couldn't really answer the question when I said which ones, right? So he's not 100% whether it goes through the eyes, the nose, or the mouth. So having my eyes covered is necessary? Well, we don't know because they don't know, right? So I said, right, okay, well, how long does this thing live on the surfaces for? I.e. metal, wood, glass.
I'm worried about my toenails, bro.
Well, anyway, how long it lives for, right? So he was saying that it was inconclusive, right? That there was no fixed time, right? But then I had said, so you guaranteed, right, that Dettol or whatever kills it, yeah? So if we wipe down these benches with, and I shall show you what I have here, which is the
Well,
exact replica.
the boys in Cardiff said if you leave the pub at 10 o'clock, you'll get COVID. But if you go to the chippy at 10 past 10, you're all right.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
the chippy at 10 past 10.
Tell you what, you get more than COVID.
If you're the chippy, you're fine. No social distancing. Just get in the chippy, and it's like you're good.
Right. So here's what we've got. Right. Now this little fella here, right? This is going to kill COVID, right? So how do we know this is going to kill COVID? How do they know it's going to kill COVID?
Until I see a coach passing and mate, there's no such thing. That's my.
So anyway, I'm sure they've done tests. I'm sure they have. They wouldn't have done it otherwise. I'm sure that. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not getting involved in all that sort of stuff, right? That's just starting a whole new war, right? But this is the questions that I was asking this guy. Bearing in mind, the interview was for an hour and 15 minutes, right? And I was talking for an hour, right? To the point where, right, he switched my screen off and took away my audio, right? Because I had tied him up in knots. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I wasn't trying to be clever. All I was asking was, if you're gonna make me buy all this extra stuff, right? Why am I buying it?
That's right, though. They shouldn't. They're making it. They should give it to us for free if there's a pandemic, because we pay taxes and business rates on.
Well, I
it
think
should be
fair,
free. They should look after us. They should, like in Germany, your bank account, your mortgage was paid for 3 months. They give you PPE for free. They make sure everything was sanitary. Germans done it properly. And everyone goes about how Germans like Nazis, this, that, and the other. Well, to be honest, my mate was living there, and they looked after him like lovely. Like he was more than happy to sit there and wank off the Netflix.
Wow. Well, this is no holds barred, I see.
But anyway, Tom, we've gone past 11 o'clock, bro. Watershed's gone. The kids are in.
Anyway, getting back to this chat, right? So I spoke to these guys, right, and asked them if this kills it, right? And they said that it does. Now, if they know that this kills it, right, how haven't they come up with something that's human friendly? Now, I'm not going all Donald Trump on you and saying drink it, right? Because that's not the crack. What I'm saying is, if they know, right, if they know that kills it, right, surely, right, they know what's in that, right? So surely they know they can make something that is human friendly that's not going to kill us and it's going to kill that. Maybe it's not possible. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, right? But I asked them the question anyway. Now, if you go next, right?
Tom, wait there. So, if you want to control a nation, how do you control a nation? You can't go to war because they've done World War I and World War II. And if they go to war, people fight back. And then you're going to fucking uprise. How do you control a nation? You do it
now, what you're doing? What?
You do it medically. You make everybody scared of their own shadow. You make everybody scared of their own shadow, which makes them easier to control, Tom. It's quite simple. It's the fucking MAGA. Do you know what MAGA is? Make America Great Again. It's also the 5th fucking Dan in like karate for Satanism. It's the last level of Satanism. MAGA or Magus, which is the ancient name. I'm just saying, Tom. Anyway, carry on.
You've got all conspiracy shit on me there, like.
I just had to drop that there. Just sorry, Tom. Go back to Barbara. Sorry, I should have put that out there because it's too late and I did it.
You're hitting
on. That wasn't even for you. Just ignore it. Move on. Don't worry about that.
So other than you like sort of sitting in a circle burning candles shit that you've just come out with there, right?
No. Just move on. Let's go.
Right. So I had the meeting with the guys. Anyway, so I asked them the questions, right? So does it live on the gowns, right? So if do I have to change the gown on every client and why? right? And they're saying because they can live on things for up to a sort of period of time. And I asked them why, how long does it live on there for? Well, they couldn't answer the question. But
They
if
won't
you go,
because they can't. They don't know.
right, well, if you go to a clothing store, right, and you go to Next, right?
Tom, it's fear porn, bro.
Well, either way, but this is what we have to deal with, right? But if you go, these are the questions I was asking the guy, and I was answering them for him. Right? So I was asking him, and he couldn't answer them. This is my point, right? So we'll go to Next, right? And if you try on a T-shirt and you don't like it, it has to go into storage for 72 hours until it can go back on the shop floor, right? Now, how many times have you been to a supermarket, picked up a can of beans, you don't want them no more, and you put them back?
Exactly.
So you tell me the difference. Now, if we go into the salon, right? We go into the salon, right? And I'm standing 2 meters or
why are they making us wear a fucking mask when they should be making us wear gloves?
Right, well, it makes no difference. Gloves is a different game, right? I'll tell you that in a minute, right?
Gloves is more important than mask, mate, in barbering.
Is it fuck? Is it fuck?
It is.
Do you know why it's not? Do you know why?
It should be for the government to manipulate us, but they're so dull. It's such a blag. They haven't even realised, like, gloves for a barber, doctor, anybody who touches people with COVID should wear gloves. Don't care who it is. But all of a sudden, they haven't even introduced it. You got to wear masks. Why you wear masks? Because it's part of the 5-step ritual of Illuminati. And I'll go through that later on. But
you're not going to that with me.
I'm not going to talk about it now because it's back to the interview.
Because that's all. That's
Tom.
I'm a Geordie man. I've got a brown face, right? White teeth and a lovely complexion, right? I'm an Illuminati shit.
Typical guy, yeah.
Anyway, so ask the questions that nobody else wanted to ask because everybody was too shy because the posh people were talking and everybody thinks the posh people are really highly educated. And I'm not saying that they're not, and they're probably way cleverer than I am, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, E equals MC squared, all this.
Push your brain level down. But anyway.
E equals MC squared and all that stuff, right? Not my bag, right? I'm a hands-on type of guy, right? I tend to use things and I tend to work a lot, I use my brain, right? Now, for me, if you, right, sort of have to do all these things, I want to know why. Nobody would ask the question. So I did. I was asking the questions. I was talking for so long and blagging the head so much that they turned us off because they couldn't handle what I was asking them. So I said to them, right, I'm not saying it was my idea, by the way, right? I'm not saying that at all, right? This was very early on in the beginning. Now, they said that I couldn't stand within 2 meters of a working member of my staff, which meant that I would have to work on shifts. Now, for me, I don't want to interrupt their lives any more than what already had. So I don't want Jordan or Sean or Paul to have to come in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and work till midnight, right? I don't want that for them, right? I wouldn't want to do that myself. So I said to the guy, look, you know if Jordan's on the outside of the shop and he's at the window there, right? Am I going to catch COVID from him through the glass? And he went, no. And I went, right, okay. So why can't I put up a screen between me and Jordan, right? Which means we can work side by side harmoniously, and I've got a screen beside it, right? So they kind of give that food for thought, went away. That's when I got switched off, by the way. When they went away, the switch is off. So he wasn't purse, but I think it was purse. It was a plastic thing, right? You know what he used? This was his scientific test. I'll show you.
This is what I'm saying, Tom. It's all bollocks, bro. It's just they're blagging the fuck out of us. We've got to say fuck off now.
Watch this. Watch it.
Sweeney arms now to be gone.
Watch this.
You're under 18. Turn off, please.
Shut up, man. Watch this. Right now, the physicist, right, got the water spray, right. Now let's set the water spray to its highest dispersion, i.e. its widest, right? Now, you spray it on a surface, right? Like this. Right. Now, as you can clearly see, right, the moisture, right, went past the corners, right? Now, that means the screen's too small.
Right, Tom, wait there. Let me just stop. As you know, you run a barbershop. If some motherfucker farts in the barbershop, whether you've got screens or masks, you're all smelling it.
Right. You let me finish my story.
There you go. And that's come from somebody's asshole through his pants, through his trousers, through the chair, up through the barber, into the atmosphere and spread. And we all know it and we can't deny it. So there you go. Take your mask off.
Right. So this was my point exactly, right? Now, if you take that as a theory, right? Now, I don't know why this...
Tom, it's a fact because we've all smelled people's asses when we go with the masks on. We still smell it. We still do.
Right.
We all do. You can't... These accidents happen, bro.
But, right, go back to trying to be sensible, right? Now, this guy said... So this was his theory, right? And that's what they came up with, right? Now, I'm not saying it was my idea, but it wasn't long after that before Perspex Street started coming out, right? And everybody started working beside each other. So what I said to him was, look, I don't know why I know this, right? It's because I was probably, when the computers first came out when I was a kid and I was 14 and I was at school, right? You Google shit, don't you, right? So I kind of know, right, how fast a man can ejaculate, right? Don't ask us how I know that. I think I just know that through whatever, right? Now that sprung into my head, right, at the time. So I asked the guy, how fast does a sneeze come out of your mouth, right? Bear in mind, right, I've got an iPhone, right, in my hand, right, which has got Google on it, which tells you shit, right?
Got a snap.
So,
Tom, I know where this conversation is going, but keep going. A
sneeze comes out your mouth at a particular miles per hour, right? Did you know that it travels to up to 400 yards?
That's
right. Now it's potency.
There you go. What are you wearing mask for?
Right now it's potency, right?
Once you're in the environment of people, you're fucked from the energy source, energy just from your vibrations.
But anyway, right? So
that's a different conversation.
But the point is, I think, like they've shut us down, right? But yet you're still allowed to get a massage, right? You're still allowed to get like injections in your face.
Your dog, you can get your dog groomed, you get your teeth done, you go to the optician. You can't get a Tom Baxter haircut in England.
You fucking can, like.
Tom Baxter drives all the way down to Wales.
No, you fucking can, like.
Sweeney, then you can get a Tom Baxter haircut.
I'll tell you something now, mate.
I was talking to Robert Grosvenor about it because they're going to be doing this. They're going to be doing this for 10 years to us.
Right.
We're going to be doing barber license where barbers from different countries where they're locked down can travel to different countries and work in the vicinity. So I'm going to get you a license.
Yeah, right. Trust this. You can get a Tom Baxter haircut in lockdown, right?
Tom, listen. We all follow the rules. We're all legit. We're all government people. Tom Baxter haircuts are legitimate. When you get your work permit to come to Wales, when you're locked down, you come to me. You can work as much as you want. When I'm locked down, I come up to Newcastle, and so on and so on. And if they're going to make the rules, we'll bang them.
The point is, right, there's always a loophole somewhere, right? So
that's what I'm saying. We'll bang them.
The first time round, right, I think everybody stuck by it because, this, that, and the other. I think now
you thought you were going to die
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I know people who've got COVID. I know people who've had COVID. I know people who've even died, right? But the one person I know who's died, right? Actually, and this isn't false because you hear people who come in the shop, the taxi driver.
But I'm just saying that I don't know people personally. I know people who died of it, but I don't.
No, I know a few personally, right? But the thing is, though, right? Did they die of COVID? Because I know for a fact that there's people who've gone into hospital, died of natural causes, right? And because it's died on COVID soil, right? It's gone down as a COVID, which is a lot of poo, right? Now, you might have COVID, you might have a cold, you might have whatever. Now, I know a few people, 4 or 5 people who I know personally, right, very, very well, who had COVID, right? And they've been ill. They haven't been very well. It's a true fact, right? They've been, pretty not very well for 2 days, 3 days max, right? And then they're up and about and fine, right? Now, if you're of a ill disposition anyway, if you've got underlying health issues, if you've got problems, right? Now, I'll put my hand on my heart, right? There's one person I know, right? You forget about people who say I've had the flu. You forget about people who've got man flu. I know one person in my whole life that's had the flu, right? And that's Paul, who I work with, right? He's actually had the flu. And when he was off work for like 7 to 10 days, which isn't like Paul, right? He would be in wind, snow, whatever. And when he came into work, after he sort of recovered to the point where he could stand up, he looked like he'd done 10 rounds of Mike Tyson, right? That was the flu. Now, if he wasn't of a fittish disposition, he was dead, right? So that's the normal flu. Now, I don't know what the difference is. I'm not a doctor. All I know is, right, there's people who've got it, people who haven't got it. Like, at the end of the day, for me,
Tom, one thing is, look how much it's affected us personally when we've had, like, more people die from getting fucking run over in car crashes than fucking corona, bro. They're not going to close the motorways down. And it's like, what I'm trying to say, Tom, is that like, especially me and you, like, they're putting us in hospitality. They don't even recognize us as fucking professional people. We're the fucking backbone of the community, barbers, hairdressers.
You know what it is, right? The hair and beauty industry.
Everybody fucking knows who me and you are in our communities, mate. More than the MPs. More people know who Sweeney is and Tom Baxter than the MPs in our local areas. Trust me on that, bro. And if you're not saying that ain't true, then fuck them.
I'm not saying that, mate. I'm not saying now. You're on one, you. What I'm saying is,
I don't know, Tom, because I've had enough of this shit, bro. And when people watch it, listen, when people watch this back and they see me and you on there and I'm going off as well, and I'm just trying to explain to people that these MPs are unknown compared to me and you, right? And we're the real voices. So why doesn't the power come to me and you, bro? Why doesn't the power come to me and you? Well, do you know why it doesn't? Because we're not in the positions that they are. Okay, what positions are they in? Oh, Boris Johnson's the Prime Minister, the PM. PM? Well, I'm a state-registered senior fucking Grandmaster Barber, which to PM sounds a little bit more higher up, maybe. What? Tom? Come on.
Well, look, I'm not saying that, mate.
Let's get it, bro. Let's fucking use it.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, right, someone's got to run the country. Someone's got to make a decision. But, you know, whether...
Tom, I'm pretty sure me and you can run this country quite well.
I mean, I don't... Well,
Tom, if me and you just said, do you know what, fuck it, we'll just run the country. Fuck the government. Me and Baxter run it. This is how we're doing it. You all have a sick haircut. We're doing raves, yeah. We're going to sort all this out. We're going to make you make fruit. There's no more money. You just make fruit. And just keep making fruit. We'll get all the other stuff in. Me and Tom will just run in. We'll just make sure you're all sick. We'll have all these young children. There's no more school. They just learn barbering. Tom Baxter, Sweeney way. And we'll just have a massive colonization of just really sexy young people, which just like rave all the time.
But I mean, I was
high
just...
vibration, Tom. 5D.
I mean, there's only one downside to your story, right? I mean, I've got to be honest. There's only one glitch that I can see in there. The glitch I can see is that everyone's going to have a great haircut, don't get us wrong, but I don't know where they're going to live, right? I don't know where they're going to get the sort of the food from, the trade. I don't know where they're going to get the building from or anything like that. But I mean, I like your idea. I just feel like...
Tom, so wait there. Let me just say one thing to you. So when you eat food and you eat beans, where do beans come from? They come from a tin. Where does the tin come from? Comes from a factory. Where does the factory come from? Comes from a farm where the beans come from. Where does the bean from the farm come from? Comes from the ground. Bro, all you got to do is tap into the ground. You've got the source. Wake up.
Why do I feel like I'm on a mad LSD trip right now talking to you?
I'm just going to leave that there, bro. Massive gravy. Massive gravy. Where do you eat your food? It actually comes from the ground underneath you. Just wake up to it.
The thing is, though, right? There's no way you can grow a Mars bar underneath the ground, and I like those.
Right. So yeah, but Tom, where does the yeast and the fucking milk come to make the Mars bar? The milk comes from the cow. Where does the cow come from? What does the cow eat? The cow eats the grass.
Actually, here's one for you.
Where does the grass come from to make the milk? The ground. It all comes from the ground, Tom.
Where does
the ground? Why do you think you want to frack the shit over us, bro? What do you think it's about? It's to nick our food, bro.
Where does the cow come from?
It's just gravy tonight on SweeneyTV.
Where does the where does the cow come from then?
Well, the cow. Well, a cow is a being or a source, right? So a being or a source is different to the ground and the fruits which come out. So the fruit which come out is our energy source, which charges the being. So a cow is like a giant big bubble of like energy, but that big bubble of energy needs to like keep the energy flowing like a charger. So when I've got a laptop, when the battery starts to die, I've got to plug it in. So like a cow, it's going to need to eat. It's going to need to energize. And the energy comes from the fucking ground. But where does the energy actually come from?
Sweeney.
Where does food come from? Like you said, I love Mars bars. Yeah, but where does the chocolate and the caramel get made? The caramel gets made from honey, some bees, and the milk gets made from cows. How does the milk get made? It comes from the milk being milked from the cow by the human. So there's a transition. Tom, there's layers. Do you know how you do rainbow hair, even though you won't even comment on mine, even though it's the first time I've done it? And
honestly, I don't think we've done.
Bro, I'm just happy on SweeneyTV. So if you're gonna say my hair's shit, which is why you might just say it's shit, bro. It's shit, isn't it?
Look, I'm still wondering about the cow. I'm just wondering where the cow comes from.
Right, the cow is a being. It's different to the food source. So the food source and the cow and the human and the food is different. The food is created it's different molecules. In quantum science, it's different molecules, right? The molecules are designed to go inside the bigger molecule being. And the bigger molecule being, which is us human beings, we actually get absorbed as well by the source. And then we become bigger beings, which we don't understand yet, which is 5D. Tom, it's very complicated, bro. I can't believe you have tricked me into saying all this live on fucking YouTube, bro. And we're gonna get kicked off for this and banned. This is information.
I'm just trying to work out, right?
Where did the cow come from? The cow came from your thought of thinking of the cow. So when you think of the cow, you create the cow, and the cow actually. Currently now, because of this conversation, there's a Tom Baxter cow, which an archetype of Sean Sweeney is currently milking, which is creating colour, which is going to go into Tom Baxter hairdressing, which you're going to put on some girl, which is going to go on a photo, which is going to go on the front of the Barber Evo, which I'm going to end up reading. There's a whole cycle to it, bro. A whole cycle.
But I'm just wondering where the hair conversation is coming from.
Tom, I'm just fucking with you, my bro.
You've just went off. I'm lost. I'm absolutely lost.
Typical SweeneyTV. Sweeney is running hard then. Tom Baxter cow is real. Tom Baxter owns a cow. You're going to go in your backyard tomorrow with the kids. There's going to be a cow there with like rainbow hair going.
Oh my god! Right, do you know what it is? It's way too late to be talking to you on an AK, right? But
people love this shit, bro. Let's keep going. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. Why the fuck?
I don't even know what question we want.
What?
Come on, let's find out. Come on, one more.
Like Joe James asked me, that's a question from SweeneyTV. He's a big fan, boy. He works for me, so he got forced to ask the question. Why are you working for Dark, bro? And
Why am I working for who?
what's the theory behind it? Are you going to take over it or what?
Do you know what? I don't really know what's happening with that, if I'm honest. I mean, there's things happening. There's things
Tom, are they good clippers?
Clippers and outliners and foils and all sorts. I mean, they're gonna apparently they're bringing out.
Good or what? Is it like, you know, you're a barber don, bro? Like, if they're good clippers, you're gonna be honest, innit? Like, I know you're working for them. It's SweeneyTV, bro. Listen, I'll link you up with Babyliss anyway. And to be honest, bro, fuck Babyliss. Me and you will make our own clippers, bro.
You know what?
We're the gods, mate. We do what the fuck we want.
You know what? You're going to get me sacked from every single endorsement I've ever got.
I don't give a shit, Tom. We'll just make our own shit, bro. Listen, they come to us, mate. Remember that, Tom. They come to us, mate. So bro, no one's fucking with me and you, mate. Serious, bro. Anyway, this is why people love watching this shit. Why are you with that, bro?
Do you know what? For me, I mean, you know, I'm not going to name any names, right? But like, you know, you go with, I've seen some of the biggest names in the industry going with, I mean, I've been approached by, you know, I would see what you would call the larger sort of clipper companies, asking if I would, you know, sort of be an ambassador or work on their stages or whatever.
I respect you for not taking the deals, mate, because they obviously got shit deals in it.
Well, to be honest with you, right, it's one of them things for me, right? I do what I do because I do it because I love to do it, right? I don't do it for the money or I don't do it for whatever. Right? I mean, there's like, say for instance, me and Leslie Stipp, right? I don't know if you're familiar with her, but you know, she's.
We talked about in the first interview, remember?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So, you know, it's one of them things, right, where, you know, she loves what she does, right? Now, if I ever ring Leslie up and I say, look, Leslie, I've got a charity do on, or Leslie, I've got this and I've got that on, whatever, right? She will come down from Scotland and she will come and work with me side by side. She doesn't want a penny. She does it because she loves it. I'm exactly the same, right? Now, if you go to these big companies, right, you're just a number, right? You go there, you go there, you go there, right? Now, I've had a few different companies approaches, like say the likes of American Crew, you know, the likes of Tony Guy, Vidal Sassoon, people like that, right? Now, again, right? You know, it's all about numbers. You go to this, you go to that. Now, with Osmo, right, it's a huge brand, right? It's only getting bigger, right? But it's like a little family, right? And it's, for me, it's like, you know, I'm in close contact with Sinead all the time, right? I'll probably do a heading, right? But, you know, it's a family. Like, you treat like someone who is like, you know, it's like your brother and sister. Like, if you lose a member of the team, it's a hit, right? You're not a number, you're valued, right? And I've got a lot of respect for Sinead. I've got a lot of respect for everybody who works there, for Miles. I've got respect for Dell, for Becky, you know, and then everybody else who's there, right? Because, you know, it's a team that I believe in the products, for one. I love the management, the corporate behind it. I love the fact that they actually listen to you. I mean, you know, I blagged Sinead's head, right? And I told her from the start, so she can only blame myself, that I'm not a yes man, right? So if I get a product and it's sent to me, I won't send it back and say, yep, lovely, lovely, lovely. It's really nice, right? I'll be honest and I'll say, look, for me, I don't like it. I don't think it's great. I think you can do better, because at the end of the day, you're going to go out there.
You've got a vision, Tom, haven't you?
Well, at the end of the day, you're going to go out there, right? So, you know,
that's what I admire about you. I'm the same, mate. If it don't look right to us, bro, I ain't fucking with it. Simple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, Stephen's going to go out there and he's going to have to buy X amount of tubs, 500,000, right? He's going to have to invest in his product. He's going to spend £500,000 on it, right? Now, I get that decision wrong, right? And there's £500,000 down the drain, right? So I take it seriously, right? And I say, you know what? It's a sample, right? Cost a tenner. So what? You've lost a tenner. You've just saved 499,990 pence, right? Because I haven't told you a load of crap to make you to blow smoke up your ass to say you are brilliant, right? Your chemists are brilliant. I'll go in there and say, look, yeah, this is really, really good. This isn't so good, right? So let's have a look at this. Now Leslie's gone in. She's gone around and played with the colours, and she's done an unbelievable job. And you know what? Sinead and Stephen, they give her free rein, and they said, you know what? You know what you're doing. You do it, right? And that's what Osmo's like. And that's why I love Osmo, because we know what we're doing. We know what we're after. We know what we're like, which is why, right? That's the sort of company that I want to work with. Not necessarily the one, like, in fact, you know what?
Bro, come on. I got all the colours here, G.
Well,
I got all the colours here, bro. Get me an also team, cuz.
Well,
so fucking out for me as well.
You know what though? They really do, right? If you know, I mean, I don't know.
Bro, I've never seen a company, yeah, right, which can do colour that fucking clean. I've got black hair, Tom. Black fucking hair. I like them rainbow myself. Watching your videos, mine. But I use these, innit?
Well,
no. I use them.
Listen. Right, now.
I bought all three of them.
Right, okay. You've got it. Now, you tell me. Pick up the red one.
What, this one?
No, the additive. Right, now, what is that additive for?
Go on, Tom. Tell the viewers what it's for.
You tell me why you bought it.
Mainly because I watched a video with you saying you basically said buy it because when you need to colour the hair, you need to dye it first. We're using the 10 or 5 volt or 12 volt, depending on what you're using, which is this one here, the 5 volt developer. There's the colours there, which you can achieve.
Right. Well, the 5 volt, right?
What you need to do is lift the hair up, and then once you get the colour going, you need to use the additive to diffuse it. So I was using these diffusers when I was doing the colour to lift it. And then when I put the colour on, I did it separately. So I didn't use any of these. This was used in the bleaching process.
Right, so I'll tell you how they work, right? And I'm going to tell you.
But when I first copied you, I fucked up.
Right, I'll tell you how it works, right? Now, the additives work, right? So.
These, yeah?
Right, now, if your hair, right, is black, right? Which I very highly doubt it is because there's not many people with black hair, right? Might be dark brown, right? Now, the darker your hair is, right, the more red it has in it, naturally, all right? Now, what is the opposite of red?
Green.
So, what additive do you put in to neutralize the red tones that are going to come through as it lifts?
Well, what I did is I put one, this is what I'm trying to say to you, Tom. I was copying you, but what I did, I put 1 squirt of red in and 2 squirts of green in.
Right. So what if you mix red?
Do you know what I'm saying?
If you mix red,
two of them, and I got like more of a not
right,
so
do the favor. Do the favor.
And it just look at it, bro.
Do us a favor. Do us a favor.
What?
Have you got a bowl?
Yeah, of course. I'm in the barbershop down there, no.
Right, go get that red.
Oh, what? You want to do a line colour now, do you?
Go get the red, go get the green, and mix it up.
Oh, wait there. 2 seconds. SweeneyTV returned from interview to educational time. So, cup. Brush.
Right, mix your red, mix your green together. See what you get.
Right, well, wait there a minute. Tom, hang on a minute. What are we doing here now?
Right, so the additives work, right, by killing off the red tones in your hair. So if you had dark hair like yours,
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Hang on. So if I'm going to be using the 5 volt, how many droplets will I use neutralizer compared to the 10 volt? That's what I'm trying. That's what I don't understand.
I mean, I wouldn't be right. Your hair's black, right? You want to be putting at least a 20 volt on your hair to lift that up.
No, I lifted this with 10. I lifted it with 10.
Right. Well, if you're going to lift it with 10, you have to go back in with another 10 and get it cleaner than that.
Bro, I lifted it with 10. It went brassy.
Yeah.
I put the colour on, and it went on the picture. If you go on your fucking Facebook Messenger, I got the picture on there, mate, and you'll see that full colour thing, lighter than what you do on your pictures, because you tone it down with your editing to make it smoother, the transition, which is what I do. When you look at me, you look like I'm like this, with just some mad hair, just eyebrows, just all mad, bro. You know, like if you edited my photo, you could make me look beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, well, I never touched the hair on a photo.
Tom, the hair, which I fucking did after watching your videos, man, was blue, red, and yellow. And I mean fucking Osmo, red, blue, and yellow. Not this fucking shit.
Well, what you've got to
later.
6
weeks later, bro. 6
well, yeah,
later.
It will do because it's going to fade out, right? However, right, let's get back to the additives, right? Now, if you're lifting your dark hair, right, you're going to have a lot of red that you need to break down, right? So your green additive is what you're going to mix in, right? Not your red, your green, right? Now, did you see that you mixed the red in with the green?
I put 1 squirt of the red in and 3 squirts of the green in.
Right, do that for me now and put it in a bowl.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. I'm doing that when I'm bleaching hair.
Forget about it. It's the colour that's going in. Mix the red, mix the green.
Okay. All right, okay. All right, boss. SweeneyTV, Tom Baxter taking control of the situation like a typical alpha male that he is. Notice he's got his 6-pack back. You know, the girls were doubting him.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Right, so how many did you want? 1 of green and 3 of red, yeah?
What? No, just whatever you did when you mixed your colour. I want to see it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I did 1 of green and 3 of red.
Right, let's have a look.
Yeah, well, how the fuck are you going to see it on here, Tom?
Well, you don't need. If you got a white piece of paper.
It's like it's fuck up. It's just red, bro. It's like a dark. It's like a dark red.
Right. Now you mix that up for me, please, and put it on a white piece of paper or an envelope. Anything that's white.
I got one here. I've got a tissue here, like this.
That'll do. Even better. Paint it under there for me.
Right there. Let me mix it in.
Right now, I also heard you say that your hair was brassy when it came off. Yeah.
Huh?
I heard you say your hair was brassy when it came off. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like light ginger. Yeah.
Right. Let's just pause there. Put the color on the tissue.
Right there. Tom. Yo. I got another Tom at the back. He's smoking a minute.
Right. Now, looking at that colour, right, is that anywhere near green?
Nowhere near.
So how the fuck is that going to take the red out of your hair? All it's going to do is create more red, so the bleach is harder to break down. So now you've created yourself a problem.
Okay.
Right? So you need to learn the colour wheel, right? So if you're going to neutralise the darkness in your hair, you need to work out what level it's on. Now, if it's a dark, you need to neutralize it with green. If it's slightly lighter than dark, neutralize it with blue. If it's slightly lighter than that, neutralize it with violet, right? That's how the colors work, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. So if we use the additives how they're supposed to be used, we'll get the perfect lift every single time. Now, when you do a lift or a bleach or a tone, right, you go in low and you go in slow. So never, ever, ever put a 40 volt on the scalp. One, you're going to shatter the cuticle of the hair.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Two,
that's why I was only using 10 volt, Tom.
I mean, you're going to need a little bit more than 10 on black hair, right? And the fact that you put the wrong additive in, so the bleachers had to work twice as hard.
Yeah, but Tom, look, if you look at the Osmo Color, bro, that's 6-7 weeks ago and it's still in.
Yeah, but I mean, all right, look, at the end of the day, you got lucky because you used a direct dye. Now, a direct dye, right, is very, very...
Was I lucky, though?
Well, direct dye is a potent colour, right? So
I mixed this. I know I didn't mix it properly to get, like, I could have got a better bang, but I got halfway there.
Well, I mean, you know, this is it. Now,
I just mixed it the wrong way, Tom.
Right, listen. Right,
you're the one telling me. You're the master, bro.
Right, listen to me. Listen. Right. Last one before I go, right? Because I'm going to bed. Now, what we're going to do, and we're going to do this. So listen up, right? This is where, right, the industry is going completely tits up, right? So me and Leslie Stitt, right, are going to do some colouring education, right? Now, we need to learn the colour wheel, right? We need to learn why, what, when, and how, right? So here's a simple question for you. You've got artificial colour, right? Which is that. You've got natural colour, right? Which is that, right? Well, I mean, that's not natural, but it's right. You got your natural hair colour, right? And you've got an artificial colour. Are you with us? I feel like you're not with us. Are you with us? Right. Put that down. Get rid of it. Right. Look at your colour in your hair there now, right? Can you see the yellow that's in there? Yeah. Now, if you put blue on top of that yellow, is it going to go blue?
No, it's going to go like a purpley type colour.
No, exactly. It's going to go green, right? So me and Leslie are going to come down. I'm going to teach you. Right? Because yellow and blue make green, right? We're going to learn this colour wheel, right? We're going to crack the colour, and we're going to get every barber who's out there who wants to do colour, we're going to teach them how to do it properly without blowing people's scalps off, getting wrong colours, right? Now, there's somebody that I watched on Instagram, right? Now, got a lot of followers, got a lot of viewers, right? Now, he did a full head lift. Now, the ends of the hair were over-processed massively, so they were white. The roots weren't overly processed, so they were quite yellow. So he put a blue on, right, all the way through. Now, he had a blue top and horrendous green roots, right? Now, the kid kind of got away with it because he's quite a good-looking kid, but that is the biggest error in colour possible, right? Because it wasn't neutralised and cleaned out. Now, that's where the education comes in. So, on that note, my friend, right? We're going to, next week, we're going to sort out a date. I'm going to speak to Leslie and we're going to go around and we're going to do some colour education. Not only that, we're not going to go around because we're not allowed. It's lockdown. Me and Leslie are going to get together, right? And we're going to do an education on colour using Osmo, hows, what's, whys, whens, and don'ts, right? So I'm going to show you how to colour. So anybody who is on there, anybody who's watching, anybody who's on Facebook, Instagram, wherever this thing goes, me and Leslie are going to get together, right? And we're going to do, even if she's at home and I'm at home, doesn't matter. We're going to have it all on the screen. We're going to do about an hour's worth of education where we're going to talk you through the basics of colour, right? How to lift, how to apply the lift. Because when you apply bleach, it's not just a case of putting it on, it's an artwork, right? You have to put it on properly to get the official lift. Getting shit like that, putting it on your head ain't going to work. Right, now, the reason I've told you to do that, right, is so that you can see what you've done wrong, right? You needed to be green and you got red, right?
No, but so, look, that's the green there, right?
And now, so if you want to learn the colour wheel, get a yellow and then start dropping in pieces of violet, right? Until you get a nice sort of browny colour. Then you know it's neutralised, right? That's how you learn colour. That's how you learn to neutralise colour. So we're going to do that, right? We're going to knock that up. So make that happen. I'm going to get some flyers. We're going to post this video out if anybody sees it, right? And we'll get it looking banging. Yeah, we'll do all that stuff, right? But on that note, I'm going to shoot, right? I'm going to bed, right?
No worries, Tom. Listen, Tom.
Right. No.
Let me just wrap it up then properly.
Yeah.
Listen, Tom, it's been a great interview with you. We've had some real gravy tonight. Be great. Thank you for coming on. Obviously, you're going to be a co-host with me on this because we're gonna set this up properly. I'm actually going to be advertising for people who are going to work for SweeneyTV. We're going to go proper. Tom, I want you as a permanent co-host with me. I fucking love you. You're my fucking good mate. Me and you are like that now. So, Tom, fucking love you, bro. And you can always jump on anytime you want. Full co-host if you want. And listen, if you want to come down to Wales and come and see me, you're more than welcome. And just want to say thank you for the interview. It's been brilliant. And SweeneyTV, the people who watch this, they're gonna really love this. So thank you, brother. Just anything you want to say?
Good night, and I shall see you soon, right? Because we're going to do the education, all right? That'll be announced. I'll let Sweeney know. We'll get it up and running. Now, we're going to smash it next year. Colours are going to be right. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it properly. So for now, from me, from Sweeney, good night.
Good night, brother. Good night. Good night. Thank you, Tom.